One of the things that distinguishes Heidegger's analysis of reality and being and time is the way that he sets up this duality between what he terms the ontic and the ontological. For Heidegger, the ontic refers to all of those kind of everyday empirical things that we concern ourselves with. The world of, you know, average everydayness, as he put it, and the commerce that we have with the world on a, you know, on the basis of either ready at hand or something being present at hand. It also includes all of the social structures that we have, all of our institutions, the family, school, and so forth. And it would also include, though, the measurements that we use to discuss and assess all of these institutions and interactions, social interactions that we have. So the ontic is, for most of us, I think, you know, for most of our life, we are approximately, as Heidegger would, his translator would put it, approximately, and for the most part, we're concerned with things in the ontic world. The ontological refers, in Heidegger's analysis, to the most fundamental aspect of reality, and that is, of course, being itself or existence. Now, there are different ways that we experience existence, but our way of talking about existence is primarily one of talking about existence in an ontic sort of way. We measure time, for example, and we talk all about, you know, our sophisticated measurements of time and what time will do given such and such circumstances. But the fundamental question, what is time, often goes unasked, or people scratch their heads and just kind of move on. Which brings us to another interesting part of Heidegger's analysis of the ontic and the ontological world, these two realms that we live in. The role of speech is really curious in Heidegger's analysis. Speech in the ontic world, in the everyday world, has this peculiar quality that it masks our ontological situation, the human condition per se. So speech is used to deflect, to dismiss, to move on, to not engage with. And, you know, and so you could think about platitudes, phraseology, different assumptions that we make and speak about on a daily basis. If something happens and we run into someone and we're relating what happened, generally the response will be, well, whatever, or, you know, some other phrase. What are you going to do? That's too bad. And so phrases and speech, in a very peculiar sort of way, mask or keep us from actually engaging with the events that we're being told about or that we see. And individuals can kind of, as Heidegger puts it, leap in and tell us what events actually meant. So sort of like spin doctors, but not in the realm of politics. They're spin doctors in the everyday world. They give us a ready-made phrase to explain just about every circumstance that we're going to be in. And, you know, in all of our life, throughout all our life, and in every corner of our existence, we have these assumptions and phrases that fit. We have a phrase for every occasion. And we're doing really nothing so much as bypassing the event itself through the use of speech, through the use of this kind of idle talk. This part of Heidegger's analysis of speech and the they-self of average everydayness had a huge imprint on 20th century philosophy, especially social and political philosophy. I'll just mention two thinkers. Hannah Arendt, of course, and her explication of the banality of evil in Nazi Germany. Whether the influence of Heidegger on Arendt was mutual is a really interesting question that historians of philosophy concern themselves with. The other individual, the other thinker, political philosopher, who was deeply influenced by this aspect of Heidegger's analysis was Herbert Marcuse of the Frankfurt School. There are large portions of Marcuse's analysis of one-dimensional man which are indebted, I wouldn't say indebted necessarily, but which show the influence of Heidegger's analysis of being in the world and average everydayness, and especially this business of talk and the role of speech. Marcuse was not a big fan of the liberal approach to free speech. He believed it could do exactly what Heidegger is saying. It could actually occlude the truth and create actual falsehoods. So it's a really I think a genuinely profound point that Heidegger is making about speech and the they self. There's always a comedic side to so much of philosophy, and a way to explicate this in a comedic way. In older times, there was a wonderful vignette on the comedy show Saturday Night Live, where the inimical John Belushi is playing a diner, a cook in a diner, and he's processing orders, and the orders are coming in via Dan Aykroyd, his alter ego, and he's saying 2 cheeseburgers, 2 cheeseburgers, and they keep repeating these orders, and the idea is that, much like a short order cook, that's kind of what Heidegger is saying happens with us with speech. We're processing orders, processing events as quickly as we possibly can, even while we dismiss what's actually taking place. So it's kind of a very paradoxical thing. So this tension between fundamental ontology, and the ontic is a major distinction that Heidegger makes. But one of the most powerful aspects of that distinction is the distinction between the they self of average everydayness, the way that we speak, and the busyness of our speech, as opposed to actually understanding and seeing things the way they actually are.